Major Hurricane Nicole pounding Bermuda. I'm Mike Naso from the IPR Tropical Video Updates here on YouTube with the latest on our dangerous Major Hurricane Nicole. Now, you'll remember last week when we had devastating Matthew roaring through the Caribbean and the Bahamas and up the East Coast. We had Tropical Storm and then Hurricane Nicole, which survived despite the wind shear from Matthew's outflow, and it looped around out here and came back as a Category 4 hurricane this morning, taking aim at Bermuda. It's now down to a Category 3, but still a major hurricane, and the eye and eye wall have impacted the island of Bermuda. You can see it out there as we get later in the season. Conditions become less favorable, although we're going to be watching the Southwest Caribbean over the next 5, 7, 10 days, because this is a breeding ground for late season storms, and some of the computer models indicate we might see something come out of there. But let's get to Hurricane Nicole since it's the main story. Here we go. As of 11 a.m. Eastern Time, the eye of Hurricane Nicole was at 32.3 north, 64.6 west. That was near Bermuda. Its maximum sustained winds had been up to a Category 4, 130. They're down to 120, but still a major Category 3 hurricane, gusting as high as 150. We've seen wind gusts at the airport in Bermuda up to 90, 100 miles an hour, some elevated positions well into the hundreds. So this is a dangerous storm. Moving northeast at 16. That's kind of the good news. It's going to get up and out of here, but not before doing its damage. 961 millibars. That pressure had been as low as 950. So you can see there as it moves off just to the east of Bermuda, which is good news because you're not going to get in the right eye wall, but bad news because you still have hurricane winds. You can see the wind field there. The major hurricane force winds would be right in this region here, especially on the northeastern side of the eye. So whether or not you get sustained major hurricane force winds, you're already having 90, 100 miles an hour, at least in gusts. Just a very nasty situation there. And remember, this thing is still pushing water up. The only good news is it is not high tide, so that may lessen some of the storm surge damage. But you can see the track here moving up, and then it looped around out here and then took dead aim right at Bermuda. Very, very nasty situation. There's the visible satellite imagery, and you can see just a beautiful looking hurricane, but very dangerous. There's the island of Bermuda right there, and boom, the eye wall and the northern part of the eye wall went right over the island. You can see it's starting to look a little less organized than it did earlier on satellite, but still an impressive major hurricane, and nothing you'd want to mess around with. Here's the water vapor, a lot of moisture. You can see the degradation of the eye there. At the beginning it had a very impressive eye and eye wall, very, very dangerous. By the time it got to the island, it had shrunk and started to shrivel up and become less organized, but that doesn't mean much when you're dealing with a strong hurricane like this. Nevertheless, a lot of powerful waves, storm surge, and winds impacting Bermuda. Now, it's not just the winds we're dealing with. It's, we just lost the Bermuda radar according to this. We had it up, I had it up ready to go for you, and just as this refreshed here, the last imagery there, you could see the eye wall impacting the island. And there it goes, unavailable. Very ominous when your radar goes down. We don't know if that's directly because of Hurricane Nicole or if that's unrelated, but nevertheless, you could see there at the beginning, this eye is moving to the northeast and impacting Bermuda there. So I'm going to move to a different image. Let's move to, let's see, the water vapor. There we go. Sorry about that. This is when I try and give you the most real-time updates. Sometimes you get little things happening unexpectedly, like the Bermuda radar going down. Let's hope that that situation repairs itself. You can see the mid-latitude troughiness, which is coming the southwesterly flow, pushing Nicole up and out so that it doesn't impact areas further to the west. You can see the shield, the cloud shield here of the hurricane is getting pushed on off to the northeast. And as the hurricane moves past Bermuda, it will continue in that direction, although it may get left behind in the long run, as I showed you on the track, and still end up having some impacts as a strong extratropical storm. Look at that troughiness pushing right through the eastern United States. Definitely a fall type pattern beginning to emerge a little bit, although it might still be a little humid for areas of the Midwest come next week. So, the very dangerous major hurricane Nicole impacting Bermuda. Bermuda, you've gotten hit with strong hurricanes, but it doesn't happen all the time. It's a very small area of land in the vast Atlantic Ocean, but dangerous Hurricane Nicole seems to have found it here as we continue to monitor the 2016 hurricane season. I'll see you guys next time.